things to you. Why? Because in your exam, you will be asked about these valves. They're going to ask you which valve is located between the right atrium and the right ventricle. What is the name of that valve? We're going to learn the names, because I haven't said that.
Yeah.
You can call it two names. Right atrioventricular valve, because these two are called atrioventricular, but this is on the right side. Right atrioventricular valve, or they're going to put the letters only, AV valves, atrioventricular valves. AV valves, then you're going to have another answer. It's going to say the tricuspid valve, the bicuspid valve, or the semilunar valve. You know already that if it doesn't say atrioventricular, right atrioventricular valve, if it says atrioventricular valve, don't pick that up, because it's saying which valve is located in between the right atrium and the right ventricle. It's not atrioventricular valve. It's the right atrioventricular valve. That's totally different. Is that understood?
Yes.
Now, the best choice, the tricuspid valve. So the tricuspid valve is located in between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Which valve is located in between the left atrium and the left ventricle? What is called? That is the bicuspid valve. What is another name for bicuspid? Mitral. This is the most common. Mitral is more common than bicuspid. Right here, mitral.
Yeah,
This is bicuspid. Now, what do they call it? Tricuspid, bicuspid. Because it have 3 sections, the other have 2 sections.
Yeah.
So that's basically what it is. But don't worry, that will not be a question. They're gonna ask you which valve is located between the right atrium and the right ventricle. There is no valves located between the right atrium and the left atrium. Doesn't exist. It's in between the right atrium, left, and right ventricle.
Right and right.
And left atrium and left ventricle. Now, question. Which valve is located in between? No, which valve is located on the left ventricle? The aortic valve. Why? Because the aortic valve is the one that goes from at the beginning of the aorta in the left ventricle. The aorta is the largest blood vessel of our body, the largest artery. Write that down. The aorta is the largest artery in our body. It's the largest. If you got injured to the aorta, forget it. Goodbye. You're done. Because this is the major pipe, if you will, that carries blood to the entire body. Oxygenated blood. Now, which one is the largest vein in our body? The vena cava. Or cava. Yeah, you can say cava or cava. Either or. So that's basically what it is. So this will be a mitral valve. Usually think about mitral. They don't use these bicuspid. Tricuspid, yes, because tricuspid doesn't have names. But bicuspid or mitral. Mitral is located on the left side, in between the left atrium and the left ventricle. So most of those things, that's what I divided the heart in 2 sides. The right side and the left side. Right side, no oxygen. Left side, oxygen. Pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation. Systemic contains oxygen. Pulmonary, no oxygen. That's how you're going to be seeing these. Pictures that I like a lot. Because it's simple, has all the parts of internal parts of the heart. So So as you can see, we have the major blood vessels that brings blood into the heart and blood vessels that takes blood outside of the heart. Every blood vessel that brings blood into the heart is called a vein. Think about these questions for the test. The blood vessels that brings blood to the heart are called veins. So what will be the name of the blood vessels that takes blood away from the heart called? Arteries. We have two major blood vessels, veins and arteries. So veins takes blood into the heart. Arteries take it away from the heart. One of the good things about medicine is that if you have A, you have the opposite of H. Is that understood? If we have the upper chambers, we have the lower chambers. If we have the right side, we have the left side. If we have a side that don't have oxygen, we have the other one that has oxygen. Is that understood? Yeah. Because that's how you have to see it. There is always an opposite side of everything. I have a front, but I also have a back. I have a top and I have a bottom. Side, right, left side, right side. So usually everything that we measure, we do it in that fashion. So pay attention to that. So here we have the upper chambers. See? Here are the upper chambers, right atrium, left atrium. Here we have the left or lower chambers, right ventricle, left ventricle. Here we're going to have the valves that separates or are in between the right atrium and the right ventricle is right here, the tricuspid valve. Then we move to the left side. Here is the left atrium, the left ventricle. The valve that separates the left, or it is in between the left atrium and the left ventricle, is called the mitral valve. Now we have two more, right? Right here on the right side, we're going to have another valve, the pulmonary valve. Why? Because it connects to the pulmonary artery. And that pulmonary artery is going to the lungs. We have the right pulmonary artery, the left pulmonary artery. Why? Because you have two lungs. And one goes to one side, the other one's to the other side. Remember that the blood that runs in this area, the right side of the heart, do not contain oxygen. It's called deoxygenated. Because it goes to the lungs. When it does the gas exchange, pick up oxygen, drops CO2, carbon dioxide. Then the blood that enters right here, you see, this right atrium receives blood from the superior and the inferior vena cava or cava. So either or is correct. So blood that enters here, this blood is dirty. This blood is being used already by the body. Needs to come to the side and then pump to the lungs so it can be clean. It can be added oxygen because it doesn't have oxygen. And then the blood that goes through the lungs, from the lungs, they're gonna enter. Remember, every single blood vessel that enters the body is called a vein. See? Vena cava, vena cava. Pulmonary veins enters the upper chambers because the atria receives blood. If they receive blood, through which blood vessels? Veins. Now we have the ventricles. The ventricles, we have right here an artery. Every single blood vessel that leaves the heart is called an artery. So whenever you have a question and you are kind of confused, which blood vessel enters blood to the right atrium, you totally forgot. You said, oh my God, what blood vessels? There are so many blood vessels. Then think about this. First, it's entering the heart. It's got to be a vein. And you see, only one, it says vena cava. So then immediately, by just knowing one definition, you can get the answer. Without not knowing the names of all the blood vessels. that probably all the blood vessels has nothing to do with the heart. But because you see artery, 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 and then one is vein. And the first thing that you do is you don't think about the vein because you see it like standing alone, right? So you pick up the three arteries. Oh, which one of these arteries? No, it's not an artery. If it is coming into the heart, it's got to be a vein. So just knowing that definition, you can pick up your answer. Which of the following blood vessels takes blood away from the heart? So the first thing that you have to think is an artery. And then you look at the arteries that you learn, because there are not many. The pulmonary artery takes blood away from the heart. But they say from which side? From the right side, from the right ventricle, right here, the pulmonary artery. But if it says on the left ventricle, it's the aorta. And the aorta, remember, is the largest artery in our body. The vena cava is the largest. Look at the size. Look at the size. This is not as much as this one. It's just a picture. But these ones are the largest. Why? Because one brings all the dirty blood, the other one takes all the clean blood. So they have to be the same size. You cannot have a little tube taking all this blood, because they're going to blow the vein, right? Or the artery. So that's basically what it is. Then we're going to talk about how the blood flows through the heart. Because this basic part of the heart is what is going to make you understand when the patient has problems with the heart. Is that understood? Then you say, oh, we're going to see all these arrhythmias, comparing what is a normal heart rate, what is a normal sinus EKG, and then you said, okay, what is sinus? What is all this? What is he talking about? We're going to put all that together. When you start learning that, you're going to say, now I understand. Because remember, the heart has a vessel that brings blood, but what makes the heart to contract and relax? What makes the heart to pump? Electrical. You have to have electricity. The muscles are not contracting just because the blood is passing through. No. What makes this heart to squeeze and eject the blood out? Electricity. So we're going to see what electricity is the one that we have in our body. Because we have some type of electricity, right, that we have in our body that makes this happen. But when these cells inside the body and the myocardium are not working properly, they do not receive this electricity, so they do not contract. And if they do not contract, the blood stays within the heart, inside the chambers, like it's bloated, not going anywhere. No, I need this blood in all the cells in my brain so I can breathe, so I can do things. Other than that, I'm going to get sick. So that's basically what's going on right there. Any questions? Okay, let's move away from this heart. Let's move to the blood vessels. So, major blood vessels in our body: veins and arteries. Is that understood? These are the largest blood vessels. So let's talk about the differences between them. Because the most important thing is, why do we call them veins? Why do we call them arteries? There's got to be a difference, right? Why do they call me Alberto instead of calling me Carlos? Or no, somebody's Carlos, somebody's Alberto, and we're gonna differentiate what is two different people, right? Yeah, we're gonna see all those differences because it's important to know. I already told you one, very important. Now, during phlebotomy, those experts in phlebotomy right here right now, when you drew blood, which vessel do you use? Veins or arteries?
Veins.
Why do you draw blood from arteries?
Because it's the quickest way to the heart. Right? It pumps blood to the heart, so it's the... Oh,
No,
so
what,
why do we...
yeah, what do you draw blood from veins? Why? I already gave you the answer. Okay, what type of blood runs through the veins?
Oh,
Dirty blood.
Oh,
Do you wanna check your clean blood to see how sick you are?
No.
Or how good you are? No. Which clothes do you take to the laundromat? Dirty clothes. So we're gonna check blood that don't have oxygen and has other things that are excreted through it, right? So that's why we use the veins. What else? Right. Right. Yeah, that's how I want you to see it. So, what else? Easy. Easy. Can you see the arteries? No. Can you see the veins? Yes, most of the time. So the veins are superficial. So the wall just said already. But they are superficial. They can be seen. So anyone who has not so strong training, they can draw blood. They are superficial. Look at this. I can see them. The arteries are not superficial. So see the contrast between them. One is this way, the other one is the opposite. One has no oxygen, the arteries have oxygen. These veins are superficial, then the arteries are what? Deep. See? What else? When you check blood pressure, which blood vessel do you use? Arteries or veins for blood pressure? Arteries. Because the blood pressure in arteries is very high. Veins don't have blood pressure. If I injure an artery, you will bleed to death in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's what they like me worry.
If you cut a vein, you can survive. I can wait until I take you to the emergency, and the emergency take time to take you in. You're still gonna survive because I'm holding it right there. But if it is an artery, it has pressure and the blood just correct.
Can we draw blood before the class is over?
Oh, please.
Can we draw blood before the class is
class
over?
is over?
Not today.
We're into it. My question right now would be, can we take a break? Because I think I'm gonna have to eat my sandwich. My head is killing me. I haven't eaten much today.
Let's make a deal. Don't worry about the sandwich. What about giving me the
No,
sandwich to
I'm
me?
worried about my head.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Okay, let's finish this part that we're talking about the differences, and we're going to break. Okay, we take a break, no problem. We can break the big break into little breaks if you want. I want you to be comfortable right here, because when I'm talking, believe me, seems like nobody stops me. I'm like going and going and going, right? But whenever you feel like, we need a little space, hey, let me know. Is that okay? Let's finish this part so we don't lose the track. So, veins, arteries, veins, arteries. Look at the layers of the arteries. This is the middle layer. This is the outer. This is the middle. This is the inner. What do you notice between this and this?
Thicker. Yeah.
This is thicker. This is thinner. I already explained it to you. Why is it that the arteries have the middle layer thicker than the veins? Because of the pressure. Can you imagine these arteries that carries the blood with so high pressure, with that very thin walls? It will burst. We will die as soon as we get upset. Because what happens when we get upset? Our blood pressure goes sky high. And that's what people develop these aneurysms. And they die. If you are really upset about something, you get so frustrated, and that's what people commit crimes. Because the blood rushes to your brain and they blind themselves about something. Some people collapses. It's because of high pressure in the arteries. Notice something else right here in the inner side?
Both.
Correct. Because the veins do not have pressure, they have doors. Goes right here, stops, it accumulates, opens, let it pass. The other one, no, it has so much pressure that if it has doors right there, it will blow the blood vessel and it will kill you. So veins have valves. Arteries doesn't. They don't have valves. So you see big differences. Deeper, carry oxygen, deeper walls, thicker walls, deeper in location, high pressure, carries oxygenated blood, the opposite on the left. Big difference, veins have valves, arteries don't have valves. Names. The outer layer of the veins or the arteries, they have the same layers. It's just the size of them. But has the same name. Tunica externa. Easy, right? Externa, outside. Tunica means wall, layer. Tunica externa. Middle, media. Easy, right? Tunica intima, interna. Intima, interna, inside. So 3 layers. Outside, middle, internal. Okay, so let's take a break. And then when we come back, we'll continue.